Hi everyone, it's Harry the Soul Coach, and today I'm going to be doing a video on how we can expand our mind and train ourselves in order to go a lot deeper when it comes to our meditation practice. Going deeper within is a deeper connection to God. And I'm going to show you different ways that we can train our minds to break through a lot of the conditioning that we've had from the moment we were born into this world all the way through. It's going to be quite thought provoking. And I'm going to show you examples where just by watching the videos, your mind will start looking at things in a slightly different way. So I'm going to start with that word, the Bible, and the Word of God. And it's a book that many people around the world hold on to dear life. And anything that outside of that, it can't be a truth. It's not in the Bible. And there's so much limitations when we come to things like our history and our understanding, and more importantly, words. Words are pointers. The Bible is an instruction manual with amazing, powerful teachings. There's so much truth within there, yet we have to view it from different perspectives. The book has been taught to many people around the world by people that do not want you knowing the full truth. So we call them gatekeepers, but they stop the full perspective coming out. And they don't want you to know that God is within, which it tells us many times within the book. If you're just new to my channel and you just heard me say the word God, the word Bible, and this is putting you off, you're still here. So I'm going to ask you, stay through this, because God is so simple. The way that God's being described to us in our life is so limited. Most of the people describing God to us has never experienced God because their descriptions are well off. Words from being spoken to words on a page is so limited. And I really want you to see the videos that I'm going to share today to show you how these are all experiences that we are capable of. Our mind, and then the senses of the body, especially our sight, can do things that we're unaware of. And if we can start training our body and bring more experience into our life, our awareness changes. Our body starts upgrading. The way that we start seeing things changes because our body's now equipped. It now knows that you, the self, has a bit more of an understanding. So it's almost to say, look what else I can do. So the beautiful thing about this human experience is change. Change is that one powerful universal law. And the one thing that stops us from moving forward is that fear of change and people holding on to a concept of time and the past. And then on top of that is what I was discussing just a minute ago, is the opinions of others, the beliefs of others, the concepts of others, passed on through generations. It's just the way it's meant to be. That's how it's always been. All of this is limitations. So the Bible, over 2,000 years ago, it was written. And there's so much magic within those books. However, if you look at the world that we're experiencing now, many people are not at all close to following basic instructions. Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth. Yet they're pointers. So the beautiful thing about God is that you cannot put God into words at all. The Bible describes as much as possible about the Lord, about God, about Christ, the story of Jesus. It still doesn't come close to God. God is so much more than anything that we could ever fathom. And as we go on this journey, we'll have moments and experiences where it is you're lost for words. It only can be God. And a lot of times these experiences are labeled with other different interpretations, trying to keep you guessing. No, 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 it's not God. No, no, you must have been seeing things. All of this is God. So the more that we develop, the more that we bring awareness to our life, the more that we grow, the more understanding we have of this creation that we're all walking through, the more we start seeing God in all forms. Because the more understanding, the more awareness, the more things we start noticing, which wasn't there before, yet it's always been there. What we put out comes back. So the mood that we put out, the energy that we put out, if you notice the people in your life, it mirrors where you are in your life. If you're one of these people that all bad things always happen to me, yeah, it's because you tell yourself that. So this awakening all is one waking up to the biggest lie, which is life itself, because it's been presented to us as a lie. And then the awakening is to knowing who we really are, which is it's going to take time. And if you take time out as a concept, all we have is now. So time flipped around, and I'm going to talk about flipping around things today, is emit. You emit your light. So the mirror images and the duality is so important. So I'm going to share with you different things now, and this is all going to help strengthen and deepen your meditation connection. It's going to also bring pointers to you to see what else there is out there. And for many people who haven't done plant medicine or such, I'm going to show you one video today to kind of, which is not even close, kind of give you a concept of what it's about by this amazing visual representation. And these are things that people have experienced, myself included. I've done a number of different plant medicine journeys over my lifetime, and I now know that's God. It's so out there that you can't put into words. The things that you see you've never seen before, the colors, different color spectrum, the way that you look at out through our eyes in the human experience is not there. You're everything. I've done a plant medicine called 5-MeO called Bufo. So this is kind of like this in terms of the visual. Yet you forget most of it because it's so overpowering. And the things that you see, you're unable to put into words. And beyond that, your mind has never seen it before. So it has no reason to use it, has no reason to remember it. So all these experiences is God. God is just experience. That's God. It's everything that goes through. That's God, because we're God. To everything. So how can you then document this? You write it down. You express yourself. We had means of technology back then called a book, and then you could actually put your pen and ink, and it's now there. It's entire. We now have photos. We have cameras. We have movies. We have Netflix series telling us what goes on in this world. Other forms of expressing experience to put into a creation for others then to watch and understand and grow and educate ourselves, because everything out there is a reflection of us. What people are capable of doing, which in some cases we're like, that is out of this world. Like they're a magician. That's what we're capable of too. God works through all of us. We are instruments. God fine tunes us. Instrument. Ment is the mind. Alignment. Align mind with God. God is the body. God created us in his image. This body is spectacular. The most advanced technology. So advanced we still have little clue of what it is fully capable of. Our body is completely regenerating all the time, forever healing all the time. Even more than that, forever updating, upgrading, enhancing, readjusting, realigning. It does it all without us even thinking about it. So that's the power of the body. So I said a comment about 4 years ago, if you knew your body 100%, you would be God. You'd be able to control, if you knew your body 100%, it means that anyone comes into your life because your body sees it, your senses are now heightened, you're now connected, you're present. You'd be able to read every situation. You could read the energy of other people. You could use your mind to the capabilities where it could remember something with just first sight. That all these things our body is capable of. We just don't know what it is capable of entirely. So going back to the Bible back then, There's certain things that are now in this world that wasn't there back then. And the way to explain a new experience to people that haven't seen it before, you wouldn't have anything to reference it to. And I'll give you just an example: the internet. And when we say like the speed of light and in a flash, trying to explain that back then, it's like the light going across the sky, or it's when the candle that now you could say it's like the speed of an email being sent and ending up in the inbox of someone around the world in that quick. There's a reference point to it. If you look at technology, you're looking at me on a screen, a flat screen, may I add, and you see me moving, you hear me talking. But what can you really see on the screen? If you zoom out, what can you really see? Well, the screen is just a black screen. And at the moment, you've got loads of pixels. Flash, 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 flash. In real time. Flash, 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 flash. And you get movement. But all you're looking at is a screen. That's the power of this. That's God. We are pixels. We are individual cells. All of those are part of a collective, something bigger. So that's so much to try to process. The beautiful thing about God is that we have all the time in the world to start learning about what goes on, which is us. The outside world, the creation, allows us to understand more about who we are. We get inspired by some of the things that take place in this creation, God's creation, where you are blown away. And then it allows you to be more expressive, more creative. It allows you to start connecting more dots to things that have taken place before you didn't have the awareness to even think to connect things together. That's God. All of this is God's story. You are the creation of God. It's your story. Without you here, there's nothing else anyway. So it's your story. So, knowing all this, we can now train our mind, and we have to bring awareness to things that are capable. The way that we look at things at the moment is still very limited. It's still very two-dimensional, very flat, forward and back. Then you've got up and down. The way that I like to take people through meditations is guiding them with my words to explain experiences that come up for me in my meditations. And I realized that words are so limited because the way that I try to put things into words, if someone else hasn't had the experience, they're not going to be able to create the way that I intended it to. But that's the beauty of meditation. Wherever you are on your journey and your understanding and your concept of things is only going to then resonate with you. So the more things that we have as an experience, the more descriptions and the more explanations and the more teachings and certain books that we read, some of those will start making complete sense now that you've experienced something else. So I'm going to start with this video. So look at all of this today is just training the mind. Everything is about expanding our mind and breaking free of thoughts. And some of this will get you kind of a bit lost for words as well. And you're trying to figure it out and trying to make sense of it all. Let it go. Just watch it. Just notice what comes up for you. So the first one is this. And try to also think from my point of view. I like looking at things like this, knowing that when I go into my next meditation, if I'm explaining to someone, go inside your body, you can do all of this. It's like Inception, the film, where she can create the dreams, but she can really transform the way that she uses her architecture and design because it's a dream. It's the imagination. That's God. Imagination. Everything is possible. So when your eyes are closed, all of this is created by your mind, inspired by the creation of the external world, inspired by your story. So you take all of that out and then you take it inwards. Now you have more things to now practice inside. And it is a daily practice, meditation. All of that then is combined with feelings. So to get people trying to use their minds from a way that we can actually enhance things, you have to have reference points. So this is just simple science. Doesn't need an explanation, no. It's just a visual. Ready? So I look at this now. I look at DNA. I look at spirals. I look at the power of three. If you look, they're all in harmony, the colors. I look at levels. I look at depth. It goes up, it goes back. So if you look at it, it's all from a flat screen still, but you can get the sense there's different directions, there's rotation, there's levels. So when I go into meditation, I use the words levels, rotation, like a kind of a DNA. And can you imagine me trying to explain that for you to make sense of it? Unless you've seen it, you wouldn't make sense of it because my words do not do it justice at all. So this is again coming back to the Bible. The Bible cannot be a full truth because before someone to even have wrote it, the experience must have come first. Obviously, they're writing the teachings of Jesus. They claim to be there with him, so they would have seen it. They would have all then had to remember it. They would have had to write it down. They would have to go over it, remind themselves again, correct it, adjust it, read it out. Right, that's it there. The experience was this mind-blowing event where you are in a trance, and at the same time, because you're witnessing it, you're being present, you're not there to think, right, remember, and then it's like one of those dreams where you try to put it all together and you're unable to remember it. So the next one is mirror writing. So this leads me on to where I was speaking about the body, and if you knew your body more, you would know that you are God. And Leonardo da Vinci popped up in my head with all of his drawings of the body. Back in the 1500s, it was so advanced, and he used to cut up bodies as cadavers. Apparently, he worked for about 30 bodies his lifetime, and his drawings are magic. So I started reading a lot more about him in the last few weeks. And he also was the one who drew the Last Supper. So he must know a lot more about Christ than what maybe we've been told about his story. He's not just a painter and an artist. He was everything. Very clever man. And on his writing notes, all of his notes on his drawings and in his books and stuff were written backwards, like mirror writing, all of them. And at first, people come to the conclusion that he didn't want people to be able to steal his notes and just copy him and stuff. Yet, a lot more people have said that he used to do this at school and it's just something he's always done. And there's a few shapes with the way that he puts the body out in a Christ position. You've got a circle, you've got a square, you've got a triangle, and all of these things are starting to click for me. So his understanding is through his own experience, and he puts it all into drawings, diagrams. I was from the fitness industry, the way that we've been taught, very limited in terms of what the body can do, in terms of the body being all connected as one tissue. Everything in the body has its role. Like we don't know anything. Then the mind part on the mirror writing. So if you follow my stuff now, you know that I love my words, love words. And the more I do my meditations, the more I connect with the words. And as I'm doing the meditations, I find as if there are clues being left for us within the English language. It's like a treasure all the time, and I find a new one each time. So the English language has been created for us, leaving the clues in plain sight, literally. So I've been exploring different words, trying to take the meanings out of a lot more things, simplifying everything down, and I come to some understandings. So I started doing some mirror work, and I'm going to share with you, which you can see as I'm talking, me just writing on a piece of paper. And just this is kind of how the things that I would scribble. Like, to start with, you can all do this. You get a piece of paper out and just write down all the numbers. Again, this is just things that happen to me after I meditate. I start writing after reading about the mirror words and stuff as well. And the way we write, and for those that you know me on my channel as well, I'm very big into common law. So how words have power when it comes to law. So write down all the numbers first, and we hear about the power of 3, 6, and 9. So I like just looking now. So underline 3, 6, 8, 9, and 0. And if you look at all these numbers, they've got like a little curve on it. The 0 is the soul. If I put the I in soul, it's soil. You start from your roots. If I put the E in soul, it's soul, as if the sole of your foot. And we walk on the soil with our shoes on, with our soul. Look, we let the ego, that's the mind. And then we bring in the you. You plus soul is soul, S-O-U-L. You also represents us. So you, bring in you. So all these little things, I'm like, the clues are all there. So if you put the O, which is you, on soul, it's solo. It's a solo journey. So write the number 3. Then you mirror it, do it the other way around, and then I watch this. Look, you start with the I, which is you, and then you reverse the 3. What does it look like? Butterfly. Butterfly has so much meaning as well. The word butter. Butter is float like a butterfly. If you put butter in water, it floats. It stays separate. So the 6 and 9, they're mirrors of each other. The yin and yang. The 8 is the infinity sign. But look, it's half of a 3. So they're signs. Half of a 3, me and God. The magnet connects us. Soul and the body. The mind is the connector. The plus, the and. So then I play around with just going backwards and forwards. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. And sometimes you have to start thinking just slightly differently. But can you see? Already now I'm being present. I now write my name. Harry the Soul Coach. This is the neatest writing I've ever done, by the way. And then you flip it. I messed this bit up. And that should be an A. But there's certain words where you flip them round, and some are just the same anyway. And I'm doing this every day now, 3 lines a day. I'll write a word out or a sentence out, and I'll flip it. So straight away it gets you thinking. Gets you being creative, it gets you present. But beyond that, we're training the mind, because our whole life we've read a certain way, from left to right. Always have been told that that's the way, and that's English. Other countries, like if you go into China, is symbols, and it goes up and down. So I then just draw in this shape in here. So this was one of the shapes that Leonardo da Vinci drew. And it was based on the human anatomy spread out in the Christ position. So look, the triangle, that represents the three part being. That's 3D. Look, mind, body, soul. So if I put mind, this is how I work in my meditations: mind, body, soul, body at the bottom, mind in the middle. If I spin it on its side, or I go at a diagonal, I've now got 9 points. Number 9. Power of 3, 6, and 9. Any direction. You are always in the middle. So the power words, love, do it backwards. And then I go for different words. Grow. So that's just an example of how you can start training your mind. And then the letter I. If we look at the letter I, if I do the 3 dots again, you've got your body, mind, and soul. Look, the letter I is the only letter in the alphabet that's got a break in it. So imagine that middle dot is the mind of the I. All you've done is connected the middle and the bottom. So mind and body is a partnership. And the dot is your soul, your higher self. So you connect the mind and body, and that's the soul. I. Then you got O, which is the soul. Always, every direction, wholeness, there's a hole in it. And then the letter Q, which is quite a big, important letter, and more of us, especially the ones that watch my channel, know about Q. But Q is so important too, because it's the only letter that comes from in and then goes out. So Q for question, questioning, asking questions, asking the words split in half as king. You're in charge when you ask questions. You can stand on your truth by asking questions if someone challenges you. If you look at just the shape of it, the O is you, the soul. Imagine the wholeness, the soul is complete around your body. That question, the line starts from in, and then it goes out. It starts from within you, it goes out to the universe. If I mirrored that Q round, it starts from without, and it's like an elevator up into the body. Again, just different ways that I'm making sense of signs and patterns. So I'm going to encourage people to start playing around with this. So like I said, we've grown up our whole life going one direction. When you get a book, you go straight to that. You just know the concept. But imagine if you was a sports person and you got the left and right part of the brain. And imagine that your whole life, you was just going like this. From a mind perspective, you're out of sync. It's the same way. But yet we could be reading that way. We just obviously we don't, because that's not how the English language works. But our mind doesn't have a understanding of any of that. We've given it meaning. So to stimulate the mind as the soul, breaking free of any concept, mirror writing gets your brain working differently. Going back that direction is now giving your eyes a different workout. Every day's a new day, so you can forget it's been my whole life like that. I'm so out of sync, out of balance. No, you start today. So today, you obviously read how you normally do, but then go mirror writing. Then just have a play around with it. Already, you're giving a nice counteraction for yourself, your higher self and your inner self. In the meditation, we can flip it round. You can pull the Holy Spirit into your body. Now it's in spirit. That's inspirational. Can you start seeing how I've got a passion now looking at signs? Because the word before that is a squiggle. And that squiggle, we've given meaning to it. But it was a squiggle first. So I've now got the squiggle. I can now put meanings to it. I'm now trying to work out, how did they write the English language? They must have meanings to it. The power of 3, 6, and 9, what did that mean? If you look at the shape of the numbers, and each one was on a level, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I looked down, as king, high king, look down, and I spin them all. If the light is shined down and we slowed it right down, like right down, that light, there would be one spin where those numbers would be in perfect alignment, that the light would go through all of them. Because that's the power of 3, 6, and 9. If you look at things in spirals, you've got 1, 2, 3. And then it'd go up in that direction. So every third one would be on top of each other. 1, 2, 3. Does that make sense? But can you see, I'm trying to now put it into words and giving you different examples, but it's still hard to comprehend. So let me now challenge the mind even more so by showing you examples of videos. But before I do that, I'm going to quickly just play a little clip from one of my favorite books, Perfect Brilliant Stillness. And this is David Cass, who's the author. And the guy reading it or narrating it is called Terence Stance, who's in a lot of cool movies as well. Really good actor. And the way that he narrates this book is magic. But what's the way that he's trying to even explain from a flat 2D to 3D? How would you put that into words if you've never seen 3D before? And something crazy comes into light. Imagine trying to explain to other people. He says it perfectly in this. So have a listen to this.
When we understand, we are at the centre of the circle, and there we sit, while yes and no chase each other around the circumference. Chang Tzu. In a sense, it's all a matter of perception, of perspective. The ultimate understanding spoken of in the perennial wisdom can be seen as a massive and total shift or alteration in perspective. But just how massive or total is hard to imagine until it occurs. When I was in high school in the late 60s and early 70s, Edwin Abbott's Flatland became popular among students. The small book was originally written in 1884, but it found new interest and several reprintings as it resonated with the counterculture and mood of the Nixon years. Flatland is a two-dimensional universe inhabited by two-dimensional beings who know only width and length, such as the stick figures you might draw on paper. Existing on the flat plane of the paper, they know nothing of height or depth, which do not exist in their world. Consequently, they have never thought of these unreal directions or dimensions and have no words for them. Our words height or depth, above and below, as well as the ideas or concepts which these words represent to us, do not exist in their world. The book narrates the experiences of one such two-dimensional being, a square, when his comfortable two-dimensional life is invaded one day by an incomprehensible creature from another dimension, a sphere. Only gradually was the square able to comprehend the initially disorientated experience of a third dimension. Needless to say, the great difficulty arose when the square tried to express his experience to other two-dimensional figures like himself. How does one describe above in a context where there exists only forward, back, and two directions of sideways? The square tried using existing words, forward but not forward, a different forward, and tried using new words he had learned from the sphere, but above was only nonsense syllables to the Flatlanders. So the square, who knew he had had real experiences of this third dimension, found himself being regarded as an idiot talking nonsense. The experience of the Flatland square will be familiar to anyone who has had a spiritual or mystical experience of otherness, of another dimension beyond our familiar physical three dimensions, and then tried to express this to others in comprehensible language. And it can be useful as a metaphor to illustrate or express how the understanding cannot be described in any terms or concepts available here. But the shift in perspective inherent in the understanding is even more total than the inclusion of another dimension. Rather than the mere addition of a dimension, it is a shift out of all dimensions, in that it is not a question of seeing differently, or of seeing new or different things, but of the disappearance of the one who sees. In a sense, the understanding is the opposite of the discovery of the third dimension by the two-dimensional flatlander. In the common shared experience of this world of duality and process, what is experienced is always the triad of the experiencer, what is experienced, and the experience itself.
So that's a great explanation. And again, really trying to emphasize what I'm trying to say. Think about all the things that I show you on truth. And I then back it up with research and videos and give you images and give you website links. There's a lot there and it resonates with a lot of people. It makes sense for me, but they're still pointing you into a direction, giving you more information to look at, giving you a duality to give you a choice because you have to make the decision. There's a lot of deceivers and a lot of deception in this world. And we're going to see more of that over the next few weeks and months. It's going to get even more confusing. It's going to get quite scary. If we get our facts right, feelings, experience, we tie them all together, now we already have an anticipation of what is taking place to a degree without the attachments. So now watch these videos and see what I mean by, imagine me first of all just trying to explain this into words to you. I'll talk whilst I'm playing it as well. My words wouldn't do it justice. Imagine going into a meditation like, right, I want you to focus on this and we're going to try and get it. It wouldn't do it justice at all. It'd take ages for you to even come, unless you've had the experience. This is how the minds of the artists work. And they're now using technology to even enhance what they're getting. So I'm going to show you the technology that is there now. Watch this.
Ever since I've been a street painter, I dreamed about my paintings to come alive. I wanted to maximize the impact of the visual illusion. By viewing from the right vantage point, a flat distorted image painted on the floor transforms into a 3D picture. I've been looking for ways to not only create a bigger visual impact for the spectators, but also add artificial information to the street painting. Augmented reality with new object recognition technologies brought the solution. We now developed a way to make 3D street art even more interactive.
What I did was capture a small part of the painting, and based on the concept design I created a 3D animation and I connected the virtual object to the real painting. By creating these overlays we can add pretty much everything we want to add to the painting.
The street painting contains a marker. The camera on my smartphone recognizes the marker and starts streaming the augmented reality, such as text or, in this case, a pink one-eyed beaver. You are also able to participate interactively by simply touching the augmented reality on your screen. I'm really happy to see my paintings come alive, and I hope many people will enjoy this extra feature in 3D street paintings.
So can you imagine me trying to explain that to someone, what augmented reality is? Unless you saw it for yourself, which now the technology is there and it enables us to do that. Imagine going back 2,500 years to explain that as an invention. You wouldn't be able to do it. So again, can you see where the limitations are if we're just holding on to the Bible as the only truth? It can't be. Truth is change. Truth is our experience now. All of that experience is God, enhancing, upgrading, learning more about itself through the man, through science, through creation. Then we start seeing the amazing achievements that we can all do in this human experience. It's magic. So that's one. Now this, so I love mandalas. In 2020, it was the year where I said the world went into lockdown, my heart opened up. And in my room, I had one of these things, and I'm convinced because I was staring at it every day and it was always there, it kind of unlocked my mind a bit. And there was also a cue post that showed a link that took you to a meditation, which that meditation actually inspired me to start doing them. Eleanor Brown and Above and Beyond. And on the video was things like this, where it shapes going. And if you just stare at it, and you can also then take your attention like to the tip of your nose, so you're kind of off center where you're looking, you see things move. So I'm going to encourage you, do it to this one while I'm playing. So it's quite mesmerizing. However, this is training your mind, even if it makes no sense, it looks pretty. Just from the image that we're on now, just look at the depth that goes into it. If you really train your eyes, you can get like laser focus all the way down. When your eyes are closed, all of that takes place in your body. And if you can think along those lines where it's depth, it's layers, all of a sudden your experience change. This is what I mean. It's deeper. This is all God. It's all symmetry. It's all geometry. Like, it's magic. It all fits in perfectly. It's spirals. It's DNA strands. These are micro and macrocosms all colliding. If we look at the speed of things, where we can slow it down and speed it up. If I'm speaking now, I could say that I'm now channeling God. And you get these people that say they're channeling someone now. And I could be speaking to you in flow, and I change the tempo of this. And now you'll hear me speaking.
And they are wise words coming out of me from a place of love, from Christ space energy, from truth. What's stopping people understanding that it is truth? Yet people are very easy able to accept it when it's a channel and someone else is speaking through. Because people don't want to take ownership of the words that are coming out of their mouth. So we can speed up and slow down. We never had that capability before.
We're watching this at a certain speed, the way that I speak my words, the way that you listen and understand them. It's a speed that we've all managed to adapt. A lot of people now, they watch their podcasts on twice the speed, or they listen to Audible books on twice the speed. So they get more done in a day, and over time they get really used to that. We can train ourselves again on speed. We speed it up, slow it down. So what's to say that things are going a lot faster around us, but we're only tuned in to one speed? It's like a frequency too. So meditation allows you to go into speeds, connect to the music, to then use these images to really get a completely new experience that only can be God. It's the imagination. So can you see, people, the God that we've been described has limitations, because people that are describing God do not have these experiences to put into words to say, because how else could you say what this is? I don't like being off my head. I don't like being out of control. All of this is out of control, but at the same time, it's in complete sync. That's God. It's the fear of going into the unknown. And if you can watch life without attachments and just watch it as this movie, as this masterpiece in peace, you can then appreciate it all. Again, when I make my meditation experiences now, and people that have done them, you see the use of music. I'm listening to new songs all the time. I'm meditating to a lot of these songs, and like, I can use this. If it sounds quite heavy and harsh, that's part of the meditation. That's going to be focusing on a moment where we go back in time at those challenging parts. And the body's going to bring up feelings based from that. But we're aware, we're in tune, we're in alignment. Align the mind. So this now takes us into that DMT 5-MeO bufo. search those up, experiences, the God molecule, the spirit molecule, search those up. And a lot of people have never done plant medicine. It's something that I encourage everyone to do. It's having faith, it's trusting that what you are shown was your experience. It breaks through a lot of the things that we call real life. And it shows you that reality as we know it is not real. There's so much more to it because it's only us that can put these into words. So I've done a number of these, and it is you become one. And when you go into these spaces knowing that this is God, you can then recreate this easy in meditations. And when you get certain things like this, you can now go, okay, it's another extension of me. God can do so much more. So sometimes it gives us a little taste. It gets our toes wet to say, look what else there is to come. Enjoy what you've got at the moment. So watch this. And again, try to watch it from the idea of taking this as an idea into the meditation, as the spirals, etc. I love this one. And people who have done this can tell you it's very similar. Everything changes, guys, like everything. The way that you even look out. So I'll stop it there. I'll leave the link for that. Even the music on that brought back a bit of deja vu because everything does change and slow down, and that can put people off. However, none of this even comes close to what you'd experience. Not even close, but it's similar, but not even close. And I always say it's the most amazing yet unexplainable experience you ever have. Your ego goes off because as soon as you know it's about to take place, it doesn't want to let go. But these are the steps into a completely different realm. Yet people have had the experience, yet it's with nature. So we're meant to be having these experiences. The more we're in tune to all this stuff, we don't need the plant medicine. But you need something like a plant medicine experience to be even able to comprehend some of the things that I'm even speaking today. You've now got a bit more of a reference to back up some of these words, yet people that have had some of these plant medicine experiences, they'll be able to tell you get it. You get it a lot more, and it's very different to mushrooms, very different to cannabis. It's on a completely different parallel. You go out of, there's no human self anymore. And even your thought of all, you're not there either. You're in the experience, but it's like a dream. You come out, you forget a lot of stuff. So meditation You can create everything in there. But again, you need the inspiration first. And this is why I love now the technology we have. And then the artists and producers and people that can create things like that and recall it all. You'll see a lot of the images that are just been flashing up is from an artist called Alex Gray. And he recalls his DMT trips. And it is very similar. So many synchronicities to some of my experiences. You see the one eye, you see a lot of these entities and shapes and energy and colors. So these are just examples of it. And I'm hoping that just allows you to see that there is so much more to this world, to this reality, to this human experience as the spiritual being. Meditation is the closest thing you're ever going to get to God. It's the entry point to your kingdom within you. When you're in there, it only gets better, it only gets enhanced. You learn more, you pull out all this wisdom and knowledge and insights. You get younger, you get healthier because you're putting all these instructions into it. You are the consciousness that is just floating through. Your body is now an instrument that's playing on a completely different note. And the experience is magic, it's wonderful. So I'm going to leave a link for my last meditation experience. I actually did it last night as well. And I encourage people, go and do that, lay down to it, sit with your back against the wall to it, go and enjoy it. It's really good. The music, the story. And again, I listen to myself back because when I do these meditations, I'm in that God space. I channel energy that comes through me. The words that come out of my mouth are pure, are from the heart, are from wisdom. Because certain things I say, I listen back and I'm like, whoa, that was powerful. So I appreciate that now as the instrument. And I'm paying attention to the creation and attaching it all. And this is where meditation gets me so excited. And this is what I just wish people would go beyond all these words, all my labels, all the different videos, all the stuff going out in the world. Just do the meditation. You know me when you do my meditations. You'll know me a lot more than what people know me now, because you'll see that that is the truth. That is my inspiration. That is my creation. And that is my entry to God every single day. And I am happy. I am changing. I am growing. I'm loving life. I'm loving learning. I get frustrated. I know there's a lot of things that still have to take place. And I wish people would just start paying a bit more attention and let go of their anger. Like, I get all that too. That's the human experience. It's the next bit though. I am super excited about that because I know how all of us will look back at these times, realizing how asleep we were, how little we cared, how little we knew. And now what we know, what we're capable of, what we have in store, what has been done, what we are able to do going forward, time removed, we live with dignity, we live in God's creation to the highest expression in all forms, all the means of travel, the connection with animals, everything. I know that's all here. And I have these meditation experiences all the time. So I get excited. And this is why I'm so big on the truth stuff now, because if people can start watching this next 8 months with the awareness to know we're in full control, we've won the war, this is exposing evil, to watch it, watching people panic, watching people change, watching people get desperate, knowing that they know that they've done wrong and we didn't know they were doing wrong. Now we'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see the reactions from the predictive programming of everyone of all categories all around the world. You'll be able to see similar traits. A lot of it will be fear, a lot of triggers. A lot of us are going to be on the receiving end of a lot more words, a lot more hate. It's an awakening that's going to shock everyone. Yet the shock comes with a celebration too. So you can see God is a lot more than anything that we can ever put into words or a description. I do my best to try to share what I can to try to give you a little taste of God, but God is so much more than all of that. I just know that as we're all on a journey, we're all moving in the right direction, the light, we're all getting excited, we're all finding each other now, we're all on that frequency of truth. we will start seeing what else is going to be in store for us. And whilst I'm on this video, I thought I'd mention my online community. I've yet to mention it on any of my videos, apart from if you do my meditations, I put it in there. And this community is a safe space, and we have a number of people from around the world that are part of the community, and we do the live meditation experiences. That's £9.99 per month, and it's at least 3 times a week live with me. On top of that, it's the community aspect where you're actually able to engage with other people, real conversations, real insights, real experiences shared again from people around the world, so different perspectives. And it is nice to be able to put things out there that do come up for you in every day and every walk of life. And for me, it's a safe space for me to be able to share things that do come up to me on this journey. And the second part to that is the soul coaching. So there's another part to the membership, which is £45 a month investment. And it's one soul coaching call with me every Sunday. And all we do is go through things like this. And where I see this community growing is to a space where we are going to be helping people from around the world. And if you see all what I'm about, this is how my mind works all the time. I love learning. And we're only just scratching the surface in terms of what we are truly capable of and what we're stepping into in terms of technology, in terms of revelations, in terms of education. It's going to blow us away. So this will be life going forward, is learning what is possible, learning how to tap into the real power which is in with all of us. It's that soul connection, it's that God connection, and we get to show up. So I'll leave the links below, and I will put it out there for people that do like this stuff, that do want to grow, that do see the changes in this world taking place. Just know that 2024 is going to be a very challenging year because most of the world's going to be freaking out. A lot of us are going to be aware, I'd say a lot more with what's happening, but we're still going to be shocked. We're going to be sickened, disgusted, completely blown away by what has taken place and people in our lives that have been part of that. So this all help prepare for that. And the duality to that, the darkness, is the light. So I'm going to push it out there. I'll leave the links below. And I would encourage people, if you do want to go on a journey, and if you do like what I'm about, it's only going to continue. So the soul development, the soul education, the soul school, and most importantly, it's the soul community is going places. We're going up hiking. It's going to be amazing. So any questions, please reach out to me on Telegram. Please send me an email, and everything else will be documented just below. So this is, for me, just a nice bridge to start preparing for what is to come from just a God perspective alone. Like everything I showed you then it's gonna be all in our life, and the technology is also going to be able to show us and point us and help us to understand, to use it as a concept. Because all that energy, all those shapes, if you can get into your body with your mind, get that connection to the feelings, you can speak to your body. Our tissues wrap around our body in spirals. If I look at my arm, I rotate it, I've got all these tissues all over. So if I can now start working my mind, linking it to the way it actually moves rather than flat, rather than forward and back and up and down, I'm now getting a real taste of what is possible. So we need these experiences, we need the videos, we need people to let go of the mind, to be in that flow state, to receive, and to know that all of this is for your health, it's for your happiness, no one else's. Don't worry about me, don't worry about anyone else, it's for you. Know that every meditation I put out there, I do with so much enjoyment and passion, and I know people's lives are changing from them. So please do leave your comments, see what comes up for you from this one. Have a little play with the writing, the mirror writing, practice. Just know you're giving the mind a different workout, a very different workout. Just know that when you do that, you'll see more signs. You'll be open up to a lot more things. A lot more stuff that takes place in nature, you're going to witness it more now. When you look up at the birds and when you see them all flying in like a triangle shape and stuff, now look at it. Imagine they're all actually on top of each other. And when they're moving around, you can actually see the shapes of it. Because we're just looking up and we just see a shape, flat screen. You get your books out, it's flat. The calendars, it's flat. It's all flat. But that's not how world is. We can see in 4D. Go out in nature and you'll be able to see the depth on things. From 3D to 5D, they didn't want you getting to this part because your mind now isn't making sense of it. They can't defeat your mind anymore. They're powerless. And they've been losing the grip on our mind for a while because the good guys have stepped in. And it then brings me to that final part, the forbidden fruit. And a lot of people say Apple wasn't in the Bible. Yet I know that that Bible was written for these times, the revelations and everything. And taking that first bite from the forbidden fruit, we can call it an apple. Is Apple Macintosh. That's what the Apple bite was. As soon as people took latch of that technology, we've got them all. Got your fingerprint, we've got your face scan. We have it all. We got your dump waste photo bin. All those deleted photos with a lot of criminal activities on there. They've got all that. They have access to your whole life. Because every upgrade, every phone, it's now on the cloud. It's now backed up. The Apple is the thing with the internet, with this technology, all inspired by God and us. Our body is a reflection of the technology to show us what our body is capable of. We've caught them all. So again, using words as literal, taking a bite off that apple was taking a bite off someone's hand. I want this new technology, new iPhone. iPhone, I-T-H, oneness. A cell phone. Everything about you is one cell. So everything about you is in your one cell phone. All the people that have done wrong and deceived and are part of that evil system, you're going to cell based on your cell phone because all your life is in there. NSA has it all. We have it all. So I hope you enjoy that, people. Slightly different one. And I now recommend you go watch back some of these videos and try to do that staring thing where you can look at the edge of your nose and see if you can see depth within those shapes, and then do one of my meditations after. Take care, everyone. I'll see you all very, very soon.